For years, the world has debated why Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, the legendary Desert Fox and one of Germany's most respected military commanders, turned against Adolf Hitler, a man he once served with fierce loyalty. But the truth, as historians have uncovered, is far more complex, emotional, and tragic than simple disagreement or ambition. Rommel did not betray Hitler because he hated Germany. He did it because he loved Germany too much to watch it die under Hitler's madness. By 1944, after years of war, Rommel finally saw the undeniable truth. The Third Reich was collapsing, its armies were exhausted, and Hitler's orders had become delusional death sentences. Rommel, who had witnessed the carnage in North Africa, the brutality on all fronts, and the unimaginable suffering of soldiers and civilians, realized that continuing the war would destroy not just the army, but the nation itself. What changed everything for Rommel was his posting in France, where he inspected the Atlantic Wall and saw firsthand how hopeless Germany's situation was. He begged Hitler to make peace with the Western Allies, believing that only a negotiated settlement could save millions of lives. But Hitler refused, raging, paranoid, and convinced that victory was still possible. Rommel returned from Berlin shaken, telling close confidants that Hitler no longer lived in the real world. The moment Rommel crossed the line, the moment he became part of the conspiracy, came when he learned about Hitler's plan to scorch Germany if defeat came, burning cities, destroying infrastructure, and sacrificing civilians in a suicidal final stand. That was the breaking point. Rommel believed a leader who would willingly destroy his own people did not deserve loyalty. Generals approached him quietly, knowing his reputation, his popularity with the troops, and his belief in saving Germany. They asked him not to assassinate Hitler, that he refused on moral grounds, but to support the removal of Hitler from power and the negotiation of peace. Rommel agreed, not to gain power, but to stop the destruction of his homeland. But the conspiracy failed. The bomb at Wolfschanze wounded Hitler but did not kill him. And when the Gestapo interrogated conspirators, Rommel's name surfaced. His meetings, his warnings, his outspoken criticism of Hitler's leadership. Hitler had no evidence to convict Rommel publicly. Rommel was a national hero, beloved by soldiers and civilians alike. A public trial would expose the regime's crumbling support. So, Hitler devised a quieter, crueler punishment. Two generals arrived at Rommel's home in Herrlingen with a choice: stand trial as a traitor, his family executed, his honor destroyed, or take poison and receive a state funeral as a hero. Rommel understood instantly what awaited him. He kissed his wife and son, put on his uniform, and walked to the waiting car with his head held high. Minutes later, he drank the poison, sacrificing himself to protect his family and spare Germany the shame and chaos of seeing its greatest general dragged through a show trial. The world would only learn the truth years later, that Rommel's so-called betrayal was not treason, but an act of desperate patriotism. He turned against Hitler because he believed the war had become a crime against the very people he had sworn to defend. In the end, Rommel's betrayal was not the betrayal of Germany. It was the betrayal of tyranny. And that is the real reason the Desert Fox chose to stand against the Führer he had once served, even at the cost of his own life.